If you ever feel sudden face drooping, arm weakness, or slurred speech, you must watch this video. Every 40 seconds, someone has a stroke. 1.9 million neurons lost every minute. This happens to people who felt completely fine that morning. In this episode, we go inside the body. 72 steps, 7 acts, 1 stroke, fully explained. The story begins. This man started his morning the exact same way you started yours today. He laughed with his family, drank his coffee, and felt no reason for alarm. Nothing in his face, his posture, or his routine suggested that anything was about to change. But deep inside his skull, something had already begun, shifting without his knowledge. The cerebral artery, the vessel feeding your brain, was silently narrowing, second by second. Your brain sends no pain signal when it begins losing its blood supply. Neurons, the cells that control your every thought and movement, had begun to die. Every 60 seconds of blocked flow permanently destroys nearly 2 million of your brain cells.
His face was calm, his hands were steady, but his brain was fighting a war he could not feel.
Then his left hand went numb for just 1 moment, and he told himself it was nothing. Inside every human skull runs a network more complex than any city ever built. This is what healthy blood flow looks like, and this is what was happening inside him.
Decades of plaque, built silently, year by year, had been narrowing that artery without warning. The cap cracked, and in seconds, the body triggered a response that would block everything. Upstream, millions of blood cells were stacking, going nowhere, carrying oxygen that could not arrive. On the other side of that blockage, brain tissue had begun silently sullen. Dying cells were screaming chemical signals, but no part of his conscious mind could hear them. The brain's immune soldiers rushed in, but their arrival would create damage of their own.
The window to reverse this was closing, measured not in hours, but in minutes. In under 4 minutes, his brain had already changed forever. But what you just saw, your left arm sends a signal your brain cannot explain and does not yet believe.
The signal from your motor cortex had stopped, and your arm had no choice but to obey the silence. Tell yourself it is nothing, while inside you, more neurons are dying with every passing second. The language system had entered the damage zone, and your words were no longer fully yours. The part of your brain that builds sentences was fighting against shrinking time. How many of these warning signs did you know? Type your number below. Every minute your mind spent rationalizing, your penumbra spent converting to permanent, irreversible loss. The left leg had joined the failing cascade, the motor signal from your brain no longer arriving. In that mirror, your body revealed what your mind had refused to accept for 12 full minutes. What you saw in that mirror, no tiredness, no cold air, no Tuesday morning could explain. 4 warning signs, 12 minutes, and he was still standing, but not for much longer. Because what comes after the warning signs, there are Matura survives in image. Your penumbra had reached its final boundary. The last rescuable tissue was almost gone.
Hello?
I need 36 mil. I need help at 30.
Sir, can you repeat your address?
Sir, is anyone with you?
Hello, yes, this is Sarah Chen. I'm at Millbrook Office Park, 36 Millbrook Avenue, 3rd floor, suite 312. I need an ambulance immediately.
While help was finally coming, inside, the last viable neurons were counting their final seconds.
Ambulance requested. Estimated arrival, 6 to 8 minutes. Can you tell me your name? Say it for me.
Name.
Good. Stay with me. Nitotama.
When calcium floods a cell, its power plant collapses. What follows is not death, it is deletion.
Can you squeeze my hand?
Then came the wave. A wall of electrical silence moving across your brain like a slow power outage. The ambulance was 2 minutes away. Your brain did not know. It kept destroying itself anyway. Door opened. 2 strangers walked in. Everything that happened next depended on them. The paramedics moved fast. Every second of delay meant more neurons the doctors could not save.
Copy. IV and BP set. Push the CT stack.
Inside the scanner, invisible damage became visible. The blocked vessel, the dead territory, confirmed in seconds. Hold still. Scanning. Left MCA territory. Ischemic. No hemorrhage. He's a candidate. Activate stroke protocol. TPA prep. Now. What the scan showed externally, your brain displayed internally. The same crisis from 2 simultaneous perspectives. The penumbra, the surviving edge, was still alive. Barely. But still enough to fight for.
We still have tissue to save. 1 drug can dissolve the clot. 1 window remains to use it. We're giving you TPA to dissolve the clot. Do you understand?
Yes. This clot did not appear this morning. It built itself, silently, over years of ignored signals. For a decade, his arteries sent warnings. Every warning was silent. Every silence cost him this morning. This Gyumjun's body had warned him 3 times farmers before today. Each warning dismissed, each silence a countdown. The drug entered his bloodstream. For the first time in 30 minutes, his brain had an ally. The diagnosis is made. Now the real question. Inside his arteries, the drug began searching. It was designed for exactly 1 target, fibrin. The drug reached the clot. It began doing what nothing else in his body could, dissolving it from within. Strand by strand, the clot surrendered. The pressure behind it, 20 minutes of blocked blood, began to push through. In the waiting room, she made dua. Science was working inside. Faith was working alongside it. The Prophet ﷺ taught that Allah placed shifa in specific foods. Science now studies the same foods for exactly the same reasons. Which cellular level, repair had already begun. Damaged membranes attempting to rebuild.
And squeeze my hand.
The border of surviving tissue was growing back. Neurons receiving oxygen again, after 60 minutes of silence, were waking.
Here.
Good. Keep going. He was not cured. He was stable. For a stroke patient, stable was the most important word in medicine. Survive the first hour. Most people never get this far. The warnings that could have prevented all of it come next. His lifestyle had been building this clot for years. Every cigarette, every sedentary hour, compounding in silence. Every processed meal quietly elevated his blood pressure for years. His arteries recorded every single one. Genetics raised the risk. His unmanaged stress accelerated it. Hypertension did the rest, silently, for years. He had a warning 10 months earlier. 5 minutes of arm weakness. He dismissed it and told no one. 3 times in 2 years, his blood pressure was dangerously elevated. 3 times, nothing changed. His heart had been beating irregularly for months. He had felt it briefly, twice, and assumed it would pass. Here is what could have prevented all of it. Controlling blood pressure reduces stroke risk by more than half. 1 daily pill, 1 lifestyle decision. That is the math. 80% of strokes are preventable. Not by surgery, by choices made before breakfast. FAST. Face drooping. Arm weakness. Speech difficulty. Time to call emergency services immediately, without hesitation. 3 layers of knowledge, medical, spiritual, nutritional, can reduce your stroke risk before the first symptom arrives. Share this video with 1 person who needs to see it. 6 months after that morning, he walked back into his office. Left hand slower, but present. He was present. Your body gave you the warning. Now you have the knowledge. The next choice is yours.